Hi, I'm Joseph, co-founder of the Abundant Culture Fund, and today we're getting ready to analyze a investment opportunity that can help you grow your retirement income faster than you ever thought possible and with a lot less risk. Now, a lot of people don't know that they can actually use small businesses as a vehicle for retirement, and in my opinion, it's the best vehicle out there because it not only generates way more income than those traditional retirement assets like stocks, bonds, and multifamily real estate, as you'll see later on in this video. But when you have the right team in place, it also can have a lot less risk as well. So if you look at my screen, we have a full service moving and storage company with a $255,000 adjusted EBITDA. And remember, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So, some of the things that stand out to me about this business is that it's trademarked, which is kind of cool. A lot of businesses aren't necessarily trademarked. It's always a really good idea to do that. It allows for a lot of different creative opportunities down the road, in my opinion. And a lot of their property expenses are actually covered by the income that they're generating off of the storage units. So all of their moving operations are almost free cash flow outside of the labor that they have to pay employees to do that and whatever material that they might bring along with them, which is very good in my opinion. It says that the seller is basically wanting to sell because they have other goals and interests that they want to pursue. And another good thing that stood out to me is that even though that space they admit is pretty competitive, they've won awards for their company for the last 5 years in a row in their area. So even though it might be a competitive space, they're actually probably the best in their area due to the awards that they keep winning, which is always a very good thing. So let's dive into the numbers. So it has an asking price of $550,000 and a gross revenue of $665,000. It has furniture, fixture, and equipment of $125,000 and has a cash flow of $255,000. And it was established in 2010, so it's been around for a little bit over a decade, which is always a good thing. So, how would this business look if my investment fund bought it as an acquisition, and how would my investors get paid off of it? We can answer that question with this trusty fund return analysis calculator. And honestly, there's a whole bunch of data on it. Don't worry about all of that. If you want to learn more about the rest of the stuff on here, you can feel free to reach out to me and we can have a conversation about it. But I think the most important numbers are the ones that are color coded, is because they're the main numbers dealing with the investment and what my investors would actually make off of a transaction like that. So we have right here in the light green, we have 550,000 because that's the asking price. And assuming that we don't grow the business and assuming that we don't use any financial leverage in order to buy it, which usually we do, the cash flow from that business would be $255,000 a year. And my investors would make a 34% return on their money from that cash flow. And as far as a dollar amount is concerned, that 34% would equate to $188,000 a year that they will make year over year until they get their money out of that particular business. So they're investing 550 and they're getting 188 back every single year, which I think is a decent return on investment. Like I say all the time, I'm in the space, but you just never really get used to the types of returns that you're able to generate in a small business acquisition. Now, how does this return actually stack up against the other retirement returns that you might get from stocks, bonds, and multifamily real estate? I actually have a calculator for that as well, the retirement income comparison calculator. So I actually researched the numbers for stocks, bonds, and multifamily real estate and found that when you don't include financial leverage and if you're not including growth, your income from those assets, if you bought them for all cash, would be 6% per year or less in a lot of cases. If you invested $500,000 into those assets, your annual income in retirement would be $30,000 or even less in some cases. But if you invested that same $500,000 into the type of business that we just looked at under the Abundant Culture Fund umbrella, you would actually make a 34% on your money instead of a 6% return. And your average annual income would jump to $171,000, which is $141,000 more than what you would be making just investing in the traditional assets. So you have the same money invested, but two totally different returns. So the only way you can affect your retirement income is if you either A, invest more, or B, make a higher return. And I always say, why not do both if you can? So that $141,000 is actually a 571% increase in income, which basically means you make basically 5.7 times more with Abundant Culture Fund and that asset as opposed to investing that same amount of money into the traditional assets that everybody is really familiar with. So let's say you had a goal of just generating $60,000 in income for your retirement. How much would you have to invest for that? Well, for the traditional assets, you would have to invest about $1 million in order to generate that $60,000 of income. But with Abundant Culture Fund, if we basically bought a whole bunch of assets like the one you just seen, and there are a ton of them out there, you would only have to invest $175,000 in order to get that same $60,000 worth of retirement income annually. So you tell me what sounds better or easier. Would you rather invest $1 million to get $60,000, or would you rather invest $175,000 to get $60,000? I would rather invest the 175. And if you go that route, basically that's $824,000 over your investment career that does not have to go into retirement anymore. That's how much Abundant Culture Fund could save you on your road to retirement by investing in assets like that. Uh, think about it. What could you do with $824,000? You can give more to charity. You can buy houses, you can buy cars, you can invest in your, children's education, your grandchildren's education, some random stranger's education, or you can reinvest it and make way more than $60,000 of income. The choice is yours. And I think what financial freedom is all about is having the freedom of having a bunch of money and being able to choose whatever you want to do with that money, in your opinion. So that pretty much concludes our analysis for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're somebody who wants to double your retirement income with less investment, less risk, and less fees, reach out to us at abundantculturefund.com. Or if you're a small business owner who is looking to sell your business because you want to focus on that next phase in your life, also reach out to us at abundantculturefund.com. Thank you and have a great day.